G'day, I'm Trent Maxwell,
And I'm Lee
and we
Mason.
want to welcome you to our Live, Learn, Survive podcast. Since 2018, Lee and I travelled the globe and met face-to-face over 36,500 children in 6 countries across 3 continents. We've created a series of award-winning children's books, a global online education program, and are founders of the Live, Learn, Survive charity, all focused on teaching children and young adults life skills that will not only help themselves but help others too. We're on a mission to spread awareness about fire, water, and first aid education to inspire the next generation of first responders. So join us for the next half an hour with some fun, inspiration, and kindness, and we'll try and learn something too. How are you this week, Lee? Welcome aboard.
Maxie, I am good. How are you?
I'm good. Been a crazy couple of weeks, but I'm sure we can catch up on that soon. But yeah, how are you going?
Absolutely. No, it's been good. It's been an interesting few days up here in southeast Queensland, but I think we're all okay. So back on the what do they say? Back on the bike, back on the and
Back on the
just
wagon.
getting back on the wagon, getting on with it, and getting busy. So, but we've got a special guest today, Maxie.
We
One of
do.
our very, very special guests, a VIP guest.
Very special guest, someone that's
Ooh.
actually a part of the Live, Learn, Survive family. So
Absolutely.
I can't believe it's taken
100%.
this long to actually interview this person. But in hindsight, the longer we leave it, the more and more great things the great person
I know.
is doing. So
He's looking very nervous now. We put him under pressure, so we better introduce him, hey, for the
yes.
for the people that are not on YouTube and can't see him yet. So, Maxie, today we are joined by our very, very special friend, Mr. Paul Dorin. So, Paul is station commander with Fire and Rescue New South Wales, and in 2024 received the Australian Fire Service Medal in the King's Birthday Honours List for more than 30 years service as a senior New South Wales firefighter. Based at Corrimal Fire Station, which is in regional New South Wales, Paul has a passion for helping others and has become a role model for his peers and local community, and has seen him develop many safety initiatives. Firstly, the Home Care Disability Fire Safety Programme, in which he promoted fire safety efforts involving clients and their carers. And secondly, the Winter's Smoke Alarm Action Day project, known as SAAD. I hope I said that right, Paul. We're going to talk about this anyway. It takes place on the June the 1st every year, and as I said, we're going to talk about it. When not at the fire station, Paul is an incredible cartoonist and illustrator, and we are really proud to say he is the illustrator behind all of our books, which has brought the stories to life in such a spectacular way. Paul began drawing cartoons when he was very young, back at school, but before drawing, had a passion for modelling things out of plasticine, which I didn't know.
Pretty cool.
Paul's late brother Stephen was his inspiration, and he eventually swapped the plasticine for pen and ink, and the family Louvre kitchen gallery eventually led Paul to getting his first published cartoon in the Bulletin magazine back in 1984. Today's cartoons appear in suburban and regional newspapers all around Australia and different parts of the world, and of course, in our books, for which we could not be more grateful. Over the years, Paul has supported the Genes for Genes charity, raising money for the Children's Medical Research Institute by painting on the genes of celebrities such as Mike Tyson, actor Robin Williams, Jonah Hill, Jim Belushi, Kevin Kline, Francis McDormand, David Hasselhoff, the Hoff Maxi, to name but a few. So let's give an incredible welcome to our very special friend of Live, Learn, Survive, Paul. We are thrilled to have you here.
Welcome, Paul.
Thanks, Maxie. How are we going?
Good,
we
mate.
are good. How are you? Just for people on YouTube, explain the scene. Where are you, Paul?
I'm actually in my office at the fire station, so I'm ready to go in case I get a fire call. So it's a little quiet room, and the guys aren't around, so that's the main thing.
That's good. It's good to see you, mate. Obviously, we both work in the same organisation as well as doing parts for Live, Learn, Survive. I've had the chance to work alongside you at a couple of big jobs over time. But yeah, within the fire world, mate, you're very well respected. And again, I was saying to you before this podcast, they don't hand out AFSMs, the Australian Fire Service medals, out of cereal boxes. So you should be very proud of that medal, mate. It's something that a lot of firefighters do aspire to hopefully achieve, and to get that is so prestigious. So you should be very proud of that.
No, thanks, Maxie. Like yourself, we don't do this job for awards or
No.
medals, but no, it was a lovely honour to receive it, and at the King's birthday, so it wasn't the Queen. The funny thing is, on the medal, they've still got the Queen's face, so it might be old stock medals. I don't know, but
There you go.
yeah. But
Do you know what?
It's a lovely. Yeah, sorry.
That makes it that's going to make it very very rare in years to come, because it will be the one where there was probably the transition.
Transition, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
It was a lovely experience. Going up to Government House to receive it was. I was a nervous little boy, but yeah, it was the royal kind of sort of feel of it all was spectacular, and the commissioner was there as well on the day,
awesome.
and it's lovely too. Sitting amongst other people receiving awards for things they've done in the community, and there are some amazing people out there doing some amazing things for the community. It's just amazing.
Awesome, mate. So
Congratulations.
we've got about 15 questions here. Lee will start it off, and then we'll just go through and learn more about you.
Yes, so let's start it off. Firefighter. How long? How did that start? How long how did you get into it, Paul?
Well, as a little kid, you've always wanted to be a firefighter, and when I was about probably 15, I was going to Sydney with my mum, and we drove through a bushfire, and we saw all the fire trucks there, and I thought, this sounds exciting. And when I was at school, a friend's dad was in the bushfire brigade, now the Rural Fire Service. And when I was over at his place, we got talking about the fire brigade and and I just sounded really interested and excited. And he invited me to come down to one of their Saturday drill days, and I did that. And so before I joined Fire and Rescue New South Wales, I was with the Rural Fire Service for about 8 years, and I always say it's probably one of the best things I ever did. The people that were at the fire station I was at were fantastic role models, and I attribute who I am today partly because of the time I spent around them and grew up with them as great mentors.
Yeah. Well,
Brilliant.
it's funny you say that. With the professional lifeguarding that I've done before firefighting, I was part of the volunteer organisation of Surf Lifesaving Australia. So the RFS is very similar. It's a volunteer aspect to firefighting. So it does pave so many paths for people to aspire to become permanent firefighters. The skills, the community, the charity stuff that you guys do, it's all about giving back. And when we do our talks and we talk to a lot of people, volunteering is such a good thing to have on your resume. It's a good thing to do for the community. And you always reminisce and think about those good times because because you know that people are in that room or in the engine bay or in the hall, they're all there off their own bat and they're there because they care and they want to learn. So,
and I totally agree. It's the main word there is community. Just the community aspect of it is just remarkable, and it's like having just a big group of friends, and it becomes a family. It doesn't matter what I think in voluntary capacity that you do in the community. There's always a family community connection to it, which is brilliant. And I recommend anybody to join a volunteer organisation, whether it's SCS, it's the Rural Fire Service, if it's Meals on Wheels. But there's so many volunteering organisations that we can get involved with. You just got to pick one that suits you and suits your life balance.
Yeah.
Well, so.
And those organisations are crying out for volunteers as well. It's a win-win.
Yeah. Well, I remember when my mum was in hospital when she broke her wrist, the amount of volunteers that were in there, even retired nurses, and that were just helping out along the wards was just fantastic. It was just uplifting to know that people are volunteering their service to actually be there.
Yeah, having a purpose, absolutely.
Mate, you touched on how you became a firefighter, but what is your role currently as a firefighter? Can you explain that?
Yeah, I'm a captain, also known as a station commander. So again, a little bit different to you, Maxie. I'm a retained station, not a permanent station. So our station's not manned 24/7, but we are available 24/7. And I've got a crew of about 16 firefighters that I look after. And out of that 16, we've always got to have 4 available. So we've got shift workers, we've got people that work for themselves. So we've got a whole variety of people with their careers that at certain times don't make themselves available. That when if they're at work, they can't be available. But some of us might be on shift work.
Mm-hmm.
They might be doing night shift, but they become available during the day. So they're available during the day. Someone like myself who sits at the desk drawing all day, I'm always available. So someone that's got the daytime availability is extra handy because it's the toughest time of the day to get people to be available.
Yeah, and how far away do you live from the station? Give a context for people. If the pager or the phone was to go off, how quick can you get to the station, and what's the turnout like?
Yeah, our turnout time is pretty good. We've got to be out the door within 6 minutes, and we try and beat that. It's a bit of a challenge for us. Every call we get to try and beat that 6-minute turnout. So we've got to live in reasonable distance to the station, and you can be shopping, you can be down at the park with the kids, you can be doing anything, and the pager goes off. So you've got to do things within reasonable distance to the station to get there. So again, we like to be out the door within 6 minutes with the bells going off.
So that's the truck out of the fire station door within 6 minutes.
Yeah. So we're going to come to our home, get unchanged, get dressed, jump in the fire truck, go back gear, jump in the fire truck, and out the door within 6 minutes.
So you probably no one is more than 3 or 4 minutes away.
About 3 to 4 kilometres. I probably live the second furthest away from the station, and I've got a pretty good run with traffic lights. In reasonable distance, but yeah, you wouldn't like sort of 15, 20 kilometres away.
Yeah.
The station.
Yeah, awesome, mate.
Wow.
Awesome.
I've got a fantastic crew. I've got a mixture of they've got quite a range of jobs. We've got bus drivers, we've got sign writers, we've got people that work for BHP Steel, a couple of miners, we've got electricians. So there's a whole variety. But the best thing is it's definitely a family, and I think the most important thing that I pride myself on at the station is our camaraderie. And it's just it's a real bonding sort of a group, and it's funny because we might get a fire call that might only be about 5 minutes, but we spend an hour chatting away afterwards before we head home.
It's so important.
Brilliant. So one of the things that we just talked about as we introed you, Paul, and we know how passionate you are about this, so we want to make sure you really get every opportunity to talk about it. The SAAD initiative, which is the Smoke Alarm Action Day project. Tell us about it and, how it came about.
Yeah, that's something I'm really, really proud of, Smoke Alarm Action Day. This is our second year. This will be in June, 1st of June, this will be our second year. It was an idea that came about with regards to, I suppose, one program led to another program. My home care and disability support program kicked off as I was a full-time carer for my mother, and my association with the carers that came in and helped myself and my mother out. And from that, it just sort of made me aware of the amount of vulnerable members of our community out there that don't have a smoke alarm, or we say now a working smoke alarm. They might have an old smoke alarm that's not working, and surprisingly, the amount of people that don't have a smoke alarm at all. So change your clocks, change your batteries is something that was kind of, I suppose, it's lost its impact, and we need something new, something fresh. And these days, smoke alarms are 10-year-old smoke alarms, so they come as a complete unit. So you're not. Sorry, that's my phone. So.
Thought that was a call. Or we're on.
I was going to say, are we on? No, he's off. No.
Yeah. So smoke alarms now come as a complete unit, for a 10-year battery, and once it's had its 10-year lifespan, well, we just change the whole unit. So we needed something a bit more fresher, and came along Smoke Alarm Action Day last year. It was something that we were sort of just going to develop in New South Wales, and but because through my connections with the home care and disability program, you're in touch with Canberra Fire Service, because there's a lot of home care providers that have got clients on the outskirts of Canberra, so they wanted to get involved as well. And from there, I thought I'd sort of introduce Canberra to it, and then we introduced Melbourne to the idea of Smoke Alarm Action Day. And from there, it just sort of grew and grew. And knowing me and how I get passionate about, if I get something I'm involved with, I just go sort of 100%. And then it led to contacting the other states. That was the hardest thing, is getting everybody involved. But so we started to get a few of the other states and territories involved, the fire services. And I'm really glad to say that this year we've got, I think, every state and territory fire service in Australia involved.
That's amazing, mate. It's a huge effort within 2 years of operating.
Amazing.
You know, we're all different fire services. We all got different protocols and different things that we do. But the fact that we could all come together on common ground and get this great initiative out there to have working smoke alarms in homes. You've been a firefighter for a long time, been a firefighter for nearly 10 years, and we've had a number of fatalities where people haven't had working smoke alarms and they've died, during their sleep from not having a working smoke alarm. So you are saving lives, and it's something you should be very proud of. And adding on to that, talking about different fire services, how can people at home listening or watching this podcast right now, how can they get involved with the SAAD fire safety initiative?
Well, Smoke Alarm Action Day, it's one day. It's a day that we want residents to take action and be responsible for their own safety and their family's safety. So all we're asking on June the 1st is just to test a smoke alarm. I think we've become a little bit complacent, because there's this little device that sits on our ceiling, and we can walk past it every day but forget it's there. And unless you're a bad cook and burn the toast, or you burn dinner, the smoke alarm, you may never hear the smoke alarm going off. So some people, you'll think that little light's showing that show there's power going to it, but it doesn't actually work. So on June the 1st, we just want everybody, takes a couple of minutes just to test their smoke alarm. We don't want people climbing ladders. They can use a broom handle, turn it upside down, and just test to make sure it's working. Because you're surprised the amount of homes that we go into that we test the smoke alarms and they're not working.
They don't work, or they're in the wrong spot. And then adding on to that, they need to make sure they're in your hallway, outside your bedroom, on all levels. A lot of the time, people put them in their kitchens, and if you have multiple detectors, you could have one near the kitchen or in the kitchen. However, a lot of people just have the one in the kitchen. If you're a bad cook, like you were saying before, sets them off. You got to find yourself in a situation where they get annoying. You got to take them down. You forget about them. They become complacent. But not having them outside your bedroom or in your hallways, they're designed to alert you when you're sound asleep, as you know, Paul and Lee. When that smoke creeps into that bedroom, that early detection is going to save your life. So.
Yeah, and I always say, if you haven't got a smoke alarm, especially at night time, you should be sleeping with one eye open.
Literally, because you put you more to sleep. A lot of people don't realize smoke and fire, the fire, but the smoke puts you more to sleep, and you won't wake up. It's not like in the movies where people get burnt from the fire. It's the smoke that actually kills you.
Yeah. I love that tip that you just said, Paul, about the broom handle, because, like, people think, can't reach, not got a ladder. Elderly people, you just said, don't necessarily want them climbing ladders. That's a really good tip. Just the broom handle, just, that's brilliant.
Well, it's interesting because we went into a gentleman's home a couple of months ago, and we're across the road putting some smoke alarms in the elderly lady's house, and he was out the front, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, we're here just changing the lady's smoke alarms for her. She had old smoke alarms." And I said, "Would you like us to do yours?" He said, "Oh, I'm okay." I said, "Well, we're here. We can do your smoke alarms for you." He said, "No, I've got my smoke alarm. It went off the other day. I know it's working. It's all fine." And I said, "Well, this is an opportunity. We can drop in." So he allowed us to come in, and we went to check his smoke alarms, and I said, "Okay, yes, sir. So where's your smoke alarm?" He said, "There it is, up there." And I said to him, "Well, that's not a smoke alarm. That's a burglar alarm. It's not a smoke alarm." Yeah, and I said, well,
There
if
you
it went
go.
up, I said the other night you had a burglar in your house. So, but
Oh wow.
Wow.
the thing is too, like Lee and Maxie, and it's camper vans, it's caravans. We need a smoke alarm in them as well.
Yep.
Oh,
And,
definitely.
and the other thing is too that like more people die in house fires than the natural disasters put together in Australia,
Yeah.
which is
And
Yeah.
amazing.
again, and adding on to that, I know we're talking about fire safety here, but more people drown inland in waterways than they do on the coast here in Australia. Yet the media and a lot of the initiatives are around the coastal areas, which is great. But a lot of people do drown inland, and same sort of thing. What that's that you just said, more people die in house fires from not having
And
proper.
natural disasters. I'm just writing that down. I'm going to put that as one of our. We do a statistic every Monday that goes with our quote. So I just jotted that one down, Paul. I'm going to use that in one of our statistics because yeah, absolutely. Is this me?
Yep,
Yes,
you're right,
Maxie.
Lee.
It's me. Sorry, had to think. Then brain's a bit slow. So you kind of alluded to in that last answer, Paul. But have you got another story where and I'm sure you've got multiple, as has Maxie, how like having a working smoke alarm saves a life?
Yeah, well, we're very fortunate in New South Wales that we will install smoke alarms free of charge. We used to have a program for that was Sabre, which is smoke replacement, battery replacement for the elderly, which that doesn't exist now. We sort of will install a smoke alarm in anyone's home free of charge, and we've had an incident, and it's happened quite a few times. You've heard the stories where someone's gone, a firefighter have gone in, changed the smoke alarms or installed smoke alarms into someone's home, and we had this where we did probably a couple of years ago now, and a week later we had a fire call at their place, and had it not been the smoke alarm that we installed, they wouldn't have been alerted to it.
Wow,
Yeah,
And it's
just goes to
true
show.
story. Yeah,
wow.
definitely.
It's like where were we out in Western Maranoa? We won't say the town. Out in Western Maranoa, when the kids in the school put the hand up and said, "No, we don't have a smoke alarm. The fire keeps
We don't
setting it
need
off."
one. Yeah, we don't need one.
You saw the teacher just suddenly looked, her eyes as if to say, "What?" So the teacher said, "Well, I know what's going in the newsletter this week.
Well,
Just people don't realise and don't sleep
even
with one eye open."
even something recent, Paul. Last Friday, I went and visited the Air Force cadets out at Narwee, which is in southwest of Sydney, and it's kind of like Scouts. They got the hall, and they catch up every Friday, and they do their drills and their marching and stuff like that. And I did a bit of a talk. They did a donation to the charity, which was awesome. And I mentioned about smoke alarms. I finished on fire safety and smoke alarms. And I'm looking around, and I usually do this a lot. I look around the rooms, or I kind of like to point out, and they actually didn't have one. And I know, maybe a public place, they're probably thinking, it's just a kind of one big room. They probably don't need it. But one of the secretaries come up to me, and she's like, I have to, after hearing how they work and what they do, I had no idea. We're going to put one in, the hall. And then they said, yeah, we spent a lot of time in this hall, and so it just goes to show you just don't know who you impact or who you get thinking. And we're talking about a hall that's been there for 60 plus years. You've got members from 8 years old up to 80 years old, and they've never been a smoke alarm. You've got retired police inspectors, retired ambulance inspectors. You've got people from all walks of life, bankers that have their kids in there and they didn't have smoke alarms. So you just never know what impact you have.
I know, absolutely, and we're sort of connecting with a lot of politicians at the moment, and with their newsletters or their e-newsletters, they're putting up the smoke alarm or the fire safety message in their little their mail outs, and we're getting quite a lot of feedback from that. And I'm just absolutely surprised at the home fire safety visits we're doing lately of the amount of people that have never had a smoke alarm installed,
Yeah,
never. And
yeah.
it's just amazing. And it's been in legislation since 2006, May 2006. that I'm surprised is no, yeah, this
Yeah.
is something that I think we can easily forget about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you hear it. Oh yeah, maybe. I'm gonna. It's on. Yeah. Oh, next week. Next week becomes next month. Next month becomes, and so on. And it's like where it falls on the priority list. But really, it's kind of needs to be top.
It needs to be
And there's
sorted.
nothing, yeah, and there's nothing worse than, and Max would know this, Lee, that there's nothing worse for a firefighter jumping on the fire truck and knowing it's person's reported fire,
Yeah.
a house fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a horrible feeling in your chest when that comes up, and you get a notice that that's the case. So when you're getting a fire call and it comes across that everyone's out of the house, it's just such a relief for a firefighter knowing that's the case. And
Yeah.
this is what a smoke alarm will do.
Yeah.
It'll, yeah, and the thing is too, we've just not got to sort of think that smoke alarms are there to protect us during the night. They're there to protect us 24/7. So
Yeah.
7 days a week, 24 hours a day, they're there to alert us.
Alert you
Exactly.
at that time of call, mate. That's amazing about all the fire safety and the SAAD initiative you've done. We're going to kind of change a few of the questions up now and talk about your illustrating career. Tell us how you became a talented illustrator.
Well, like I said. I think I was very fortunate to be in a creative family, growing up in a creative family. Our home was definitely a gallery. It was just littered with artwork, and the kitchen at home was from there was one particular wall that was just plastered with all my brother's artwork. It was just
The Louvre, as you called it, the Louvre, the gallery.
It was, and it was pretty. Like I wish I took photos of it back, but as you're a kid, you don't think to take photos of it. And but I was creative, but I was creative in the plasticine, modeling and making things. And I'd always be sitting in my room with my plasticine board modeling, and everyone that would come into the house would just focus on the kitchen wall with all the artwork, and I'd be sitting in my room and listen to all these great accolades that my brother were getting, like, oh, look what Stephen's done today, look what's or this week, or what Stephen done, look at his work, and I'd be in there playing plasticine, and he's getting nothing. Paul's just sitting there playing plasticine, no accolades. So one day I thought, yeah, I want a taste of this. I wouldn't mind getting a few accolades myself. So I started to draw a couple of characters, and I went to the kitchen and took one of the pride places on that kitchen where my brother had his artwork, and I stuck one of mine. And
As brothers would, yeah.
absolutely. I wasn't in the corner. It wasn't an empty spot. It was right smack in the middle where everyone stood.
Get
So,
it on there.
so I started from one, and then the second one came, and then the third one, until I had got half the kitchen wall myself by that time. And then I suppose again, everyone was so excited to have the kitchen wall, and then I started to draw for obviously that led to drawing to the school newspapers. So I started with the school newspapers doing a few little drawings here and there, and had I not, I sort of destined at that age. I was about probably 13. I was sort of 14. I was kind of under the impression of myself I was going to be a bricklayer, because my dad was a bricklayer, and when I was younger, I just followed him around with a trowel, picking up bricks and laying. He'd always had, being a bricklayer, he'd always have bricks laying around the house, and big tins of mortar and that. So I'd always be playing with bricks. So it was something. I picked the right career. I've still got nice soft hands, but not being a bricklayer. And so from school, doing the school newspapers, I then thought, I wouldn't mind doing this as a career. And so I sort of started to do. I wanted to go down the editorial path for political stuff. My brother was at that stage friends with the Sinetti family, Paul Sinetti, who was an editorial cartoonist for many, many years, and one of Australia's best editorial cartoonists. We knew the family, and obviously that association with Paul Sinetti, I would sort of admire of his work as well. And I thought, that's the track I wanted to go down, doing the editorial stuff. And so then I thought, I did a couple of cartoons, and at that stage, I thought I was the best. I thought my cartoons were. I was going to make it. I was going to make it in the world of being a cartoonist. And I look back now and I go, oh gosh, how naive was this kid? Like this kid had big dreams, but my work was terrible back then. I look at it now, but it was about probably a year after I left school. I started to submit cartoons because I had to sort of make a decision what I wanted to do with my life. And I started to syndicate a couple of cartoons to the Bulletin magazine. And then from the Bulletin magazine, it led to Australasian Post magazine and Women's Weekly and Women's Days. And it sort of grew and grew and grew.
Did you have any training, Paul?
No, that's
just
the thing.
pure from yourself?
There's always been a little bit of the family, obviously, a little bit of the gift in the genes of the family. But it's just something I had to teach myself. I think if I went to art school, I'd be a lot better than I am today, surely. But I'd just watch. I would just watch other cartoonists. I'd go and visit other cartoonists. Roger Fletcher, who used to draw comic strips, Tolkien and Staria, again was a fantastic role model for me growing up as a young kid, wanting to get into the field of cartooning. He taught me so many things just by watching and going to visit Paul Signetti when he was working at the Telegraph. Ellen Moyer was another cartoonist, and Bill Leake, who I thought was a real role model for myself, and I was very fond of Bill Leake, and he taught me so much. Again, as a young kid, just chatting with him and just talking to him, just watching him, just spending half an hour and just seeing how they did things. And I'd go home and I'd definitely go home and sort of put that into my own work.
So before we talk about the books, I've just got, where does the inspiration come from? Because I see your work and I was like, what comes first? Is it the idea, or do you kind of get a visual and then you put just tell me with some of your, the editorial, how does it come together?
It's interesting because it sometimes you'll have the caption. A lot of the time, the caption comes first, but then it can reverse the other way. I always say that that if a picture says a thousand words, and if you can do a cartoon without a caption, that's that's the best cartoon. But I always try and do my artwork that it needs the caption for the artwork to be funny, and vice versa, that the artwork needs to be there to make the caption funny. So they work in tandem. You just don't get a joke and do a picture to a joke. I like them to sort of marry up and work together.
Yeah, you've done some great stuff that you've sent to us over time. Even
Absolutely.
the last couple of days with the illustrations. You're very talented, mate. Very talented.
No, thank you. And the thing is, you're a bit like a movie. You're making a movie because you've got to audition people in your head. You've got to then, what's my background going to be? You've got to then sort of, am I going to do it in the outside? Am I going to do it inside? And then you've got to colour it up, and then you've got to do the caption. Like, if you look at my early stuff, you would have thought, oh, this kid's going nowhere. But you always got to start somewhere, and
you got to start somewhere, and the fact that you stuck with it and you chipped away, and there was that passion there and that drive. Look how far you've come, and you don't get all the eggs in the basket off the bat. So the fact that you started and you chipped away, should be very proud.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing what passion can where it can get you. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So, do the magazines and things, do they give you a brief, or do you submit what you've got? Do they say we need X, Y, and Z, or do you get a brief, or do you just submit?
No, my editors are really good. Sometimes that'll happen. Sometimes an editor will say, "Oh, Paul, we've got this particular issue happening in our area. Could you do a specific cartoon relating to that issue?" But mostly, because I syndicate right around the country, that what I try and do, that a cartoon that's going to be topical in Queensland will be topical in Canberra, will be topical in Victoria, will be topical in New South Wales. So I try and I might do about 4 or 5 cartoons um, a week, and then it'd be on editorial base, which is obviously the recent
Yeah.
storm in Queensland and top of New South Wales. That everyone knows that's going on, so that's quite topical.
Yeah.
But with regards to, I guess, it's our the politicians write my material for me. I think Australia over the year we've cartoonists have been very fortunate that with
Yeah.
the politicians we've had. So they do the things that make my cartoons funny. So a
Yes.
lot of time I go straight away. They'll just get on and they'll start talking. I go, okay, that's crazy. That's going to make a great cartoon. And look at Trump's. I guess what he's provided for cartoonists as well, and over the years. And but Australia, like ever since I can remember, and you'll hear a lot of cartoonists, editorial cartoonists say this, that Australia's been very fortunate to have the politicians we have to write out, to give us material for
Yeah.
cartoons.
It's comedians
fun.
sometimes say that, don't they? Comedians have got a tour coming up, and I remember, I think I heard Billy Connolly saying this once. I've got a tour, and he didn't know what he would talk about, and then there was suddenly a election and a royal wedding, and he was like, "Thank you," It was like he was away. He'd got his stuff.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing too. I with my cartoons, I don't like to be too heavy-handed. I'm a little bit. I'm not a confrontational person in my nature anyway, but I as long as they're funny, as long as I'll be serious. The cartoons that need to be serious, I'll be serious. But most of my cartoons will be kind of light humour. But
Yeah.
so long as it gets a giggle or a laugh, that's important to me. And as I say, if you're offending one side and you're offending the other side at the same time, well, you're doing your job.
Yeah. Exactly. Sorry, I snuck a couple of extra questions in there. I was just intrigued with the process of it, Paul. So,
It's
talking
good.
about illustrating the books. So, first one that you did with us was Max's Beach Rescue, the picture book. And then you are, as we're going through the process, bringing the Maxi the Lifeguard series back to life for second editions. How was the process of that for you? How did you go about that?
Yeah, well, the picture book's definitely different to the chapter book. The chapter book, again, I was quite fortunate that I could follow what was in the previous edition. So I was just following that. It's just that I guess I put my style
Yeah.
toward and the way I do my I guess my style, I guess.
Yeah. And
The
we
picture,
changed all the illustrations so that it made it, new for the reader as well. So whilst the
Yeah.
story stayed the same, the
yeah,
actual pictures were completely different. So I understand that there was a bit of a guide there. So
yes.
with the picture book,
The picture book was a completely different story. The picture book, I had to sort of again audition the characters and put them to you and Maxi to sort of go, yeah, we like this character. Like I think Maxi, there might have been 2 versions or 3 versions of Maxi before you picked the one that you liked.
yep,
And,
Yeah.
and Felix, the other characters, I think I did a couple of different how I would have I envisioned that they would have looked at that age, and so and I had to create every page, and so obviously I got the brief from you. Then I had to interpret your brief to be into I suppose a visual picture. Some were more detailed and a little bit more difficult than others, but that's a challenge I guess an artist always enjoys. Trying to get to interpret the vision of someone else into a picture.
Yeah.
they
I
were
remember
just incredible.
they were, and the fact that you didn't really mention, but until after the fact, that once you did the illustrations in the picture book, but you put secret fish on each page, and I must say the kids, especially the littlies that have the picture books, they love trying to locate the fish, and then you've carried that over into the illustrations in books 1 and 2, the second edition. We're yet to get 3, but we have done the brief for 3. But we'll get 2 first, and then we'll reassess that. But yeah, when it comes to the little fish, just that little add-on was such a great thing to do.
It's amazing because I don't do them. I don't do the little hidden character. I used to have a little dog, and ever since I did the book Maxi, it turned from a little dog to a fish because the fish obviously was more relevant to the beach thing. So in all my very detailed artworks, whether it's for newspapers or or magazines or whatever the case I might be using it for. The ones that I've got a really detailed, I'll hide the little fish.
Yeah.
And because you can hide it. If I was doing a lot of my editorials, because they're done fairly quickly, and I don't put as much detail in my editorials, it can be easily found. So it's not so much of a challenge for people to look for. But it's funny because it's amazing. Like if I was to do it, if I've done calendars before and I've had the little character in there, it becomes the highlight of that
Yeah.
month or that week.
Absolutely.
Something so
So,
small, but something that has a big impact and gets people
so
excited.
have we got a little fish in here, Paul?
It's like Where's Wally, I guess. Lee, I'd have to go back to the original, but can I tell you a story just quickly that
Please.
with one of my calendars where I hid the dog. So growing up, I had a Kelpie Foxy, a little black and white Kelpie Foxy that looked like Flats the dog, and I had him in a lot of my artworks. And I had this calendar, and I had the dogs in all of them, and the calendar was printed, and off it went and got sold. And then the publishing company were getting a lot of letters saying they could not find the dog in one of the months. And they said, "Can you please ask the artist, we can't find it. We really need to find it where the dog is." And I said to him, I come back to all my, and I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and I could not find the dog myself. And when I'm doing because I airbrush a lot of my backgrounds, and I have it's called crisp fill, but it's like contact that I put over areas where I don't want I want to protect the area where I'm spraying. And when I was doing that particular page, I'd forgotten to remove the little bit of contact to reveal the dog hiding. And I only found that out later. And I finally got back to the publishing company and I said, "Look, I cannot tell you where it is because I'll be giving up I can't tell you where it is. They've got to just look for it." So, I'm announcing it now. If someone has that calendar, I think it was back in '98 or 2001. I can't remember which one it was. That if you still got that artwork, obviously when having it up, or you've got it in your cupboard, you've kept it or framed it. There was no dog to be found in that month.
I know many people have gone crazy trying to find it.
Isn't it in the picture book, Maxie? One of the fish ended up always very close to the binding.
Yeah.
And we've had several times in the crease of the book, several times the kids, and it's like, it is there. We know it's there. So I think for people to know that the illustrations and the work you do, Paul, is like hand drawn. These are not computer, they're not like digital. It's not, this is your hand drawn artwork, makes it so unique, so special in this day where everything's just computer generated. And I think people forget that there is somebody actually drawing this and colouring it all in and bringing it to life, and the hours that takes you.
Thanks.
I'm old school. I'm still very old school. I still get the paper out and draw and colour and airbrush and ink and paint. So I'm still very old school with my style, and I like it. I like it like that. Look, it's amazing. Some of the creative people out there with the new technology doing it on laptops and computers is just brilliant work. And I get jealous, mate, when I see some of it, how talented some of these people are. But again, I'm still old school. The way I
there you go, mate. It's
beautiful.
It's awesome. And now more of the serious side of the chat. Best piece of advice you've been given?
Do you know what? It's funny. I give advice to myself all the time. I'm always encouraging myself. If I got a challenge, I'll say, "Come on, Paul, you can do this. Come on, let's just get stuck and let's just do it." I'm always talking to myself if I have a challenge in regards to getting to getting something done, or to build my motivation up. Or so I would say I'm always myself. A lot of doing myself, but something I did receive a long time ago was, nothing's awkward until you convince yourself it is. And I find that with regards to, like, if I get, especially with my drawing side, if I get a challenging artwork and I know I'm going to struggle with it, I've just got to get in and get it done. Because once I get started and I get into it,
Yeah.
it just becomes easier and easier and easier.
Yeah. And it's interesting, that, isn't it? You just got to get started and things like that. So, two parallels. So you've got two careers: firefighting, high, stress, and then you've got this lovely idealistic. I've got this image of calmly drawing away. How do you deal with this? Is there a message in there? Because how do you deal with the stress that you have?
I think I strive on stress.
Yeah.
I think I like stress to a certain degree. The balance, like my work life balance is pretty bad. So if anything, I need to get that better. But the firefighting and the cartooning works so well together. It's like, it can be quite lonely sitting at a desk drawing all day by yourself. You're sitting there, you're not getting exercise. And once the bells go off and I get a fire call, I'm sort of moving my limbs and my body, and then
you're getting out there.
I'm talking to the crew, I'm chatting to the crew, I'm laughing with the crew, and so I can you go from 0 to 100, and it can be at any time of the day. And I think that's a great balance for me. If we don't get a fire call in a couple of days, which we don't want fire calls, because fire calls means someone's not having a great day. But when you do get the fire call, it's definitely a great time for me to sort of get in and talk to people, and just have that person sort of connection.
Yeah, definitely. It's so important.
Yeah.
And for the community as well, having that familiar face, someone that's keen and ready to have a chat and to comfort and to look after, it's a skill in itself. People are suffering the worst possible day at a fire or a car accident or any sort of incident. And, that reassurance is so important, and having that passion, it goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm terrible. I always say, to help with stress, get up and go for a walk, sleep better, diet better, and that's advice I would give. But I'm terrible because I don't take my own advice, so to speak. Yeah.
As many of us are the same, Paul. So, Maxie, I stole your question there. Do you want to pinch mine's back?
No, it's
Sorry.
all good. It's you answered both of those anyway with the stress. So it's all good. It's good that you thrive a little bit on stress, and you obviously have your good and bad days, but you have ways of dealing with that, which is so important in this day and age. It's so important to know and be aware of it, and do things about it. So kudos to you, Paul.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Look, I'm someone that suffers from anxiety, and I always say, if I'm going through a bit of a bad trot myself, laughter is the best medicine, I find, and I'm lucky I'm in that kind of career as well, where I love making other people laugh, and I love it when someone can make me laugh as well, because I know you can get so much out of.
No, definitely.
Yeah, a good laugh definitely helps lots of situations, for sure.
Right. I was just going to say, so the next one here we have next career goal. I know you got your hands full with the SAAD and the initiatives and stuff like that. But have you got a next career goal?
Look, I think the things I'm doing now, I'd like to just make sure I keep doing them better as a goal. I think a career goal would be also to again just improve my work-life balance. I think I need to do that, and I don't know how much longer I've got even with the fire brigade, and I just want to enjoy every day, every opportunity I have been with Fire and Rescue New South Wales, because I've really got to start really enjoying what time I have left, because I know when the time comes that I've got to hang up my helmet. It'll be a sad day for me, and I just want to make sure I can just enjoy the things I'm really enjoying now. And look, if Smoke Alarm Action Day goes worldwide, well, that would be a great goal, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely. And then
that could be the future, Paul.
Yep. I can see you doing world firefighter conferences and getting that initiative out there, and especially those lower socio-economic countries or third world countries where they don't even know probably what fire safety is. There's so
Yeah,
much opportunity there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
absolutely.
So important,
So important. And you know what, Paul? It's like you say, there may be the day that you're not on the truck, but still having the passion and the purpose like that, it could be that is absolutely, where your next steps are. So I can see that for sure. So if you weren't a firefighter and cartoonist illustrator, what do you think you would have been? Maybe not bricklayer, or we're crossing. You both got bricky dads, so maybe not bricklayer. So what would you have done?
Look, I definitely think I probably would have been a bricklayer. Again, I don't know, Maxie, if you were out playing with bricks when you were younger, but
Yeah, I was definitely playing with bricks, and that was actually my option when I finished school. If I didn't get the traineeship as a lifeguard, I was going to do a bricklaying apprenticeship with my dad. And as soon as I turned 18, I was going to use the apprenticeship to be able to apply for the fireys. So I had a bit of a backup plan.
yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Well, unfortunately, my father passed away when I was 5, turning 6. So I never got that opportunity. But had he have been still around at that time, I would have definitely become a better bricklayer. And I think my brother would have been a bricklayer as well. But he ended
Yeah,
up being a sign writer, so he used his creative talents as a sign writer, and I went more to the cartooning. Again, I'm glad I did the cartooning because I know now, being creative, that if I'm not creative for a week, I start to give withdrawal symptoms. So not only do drawing, like I love writing poems, I love writing stories. That's one of my hobbies. I enjoy writing opinion pieces, and again, it's just using another part of just being creative. So I think it really shows that I love being creative, and
yeah.
again, yeah. So if it wasn't bricklaying, it would be definitely something creative.
I love that the
Awesome.
fact we've been able to showcase a creative career, because I think so often creatives are not given. We're all pushed down this academic road and whatever, and to be able to showcase a creative career, I think is just fantastic, because there'll be so many kids that will connect with that and see that there is a different path, that
Yes,
there's more than one opportunity. So absolutely.
there's so many creative people out there, Lee, that that might only be a hobby, or they mightn't realise they're creative. But I think every one of us has got something we can do, something creative, whether it's cooking,
Absolutely.
and the way we plate food.
Yeah.
I've seen some way people, some family friends that where they create fruit platters.
Yeah.
It's amazing some of the stuff they can do.
Yeah,
Incredible.
very creative. Mate, we're towards the back end of the podcast. There's three more to go, but we did touch about the on-call retain fireys. Can you tell us how someone in the community can join the retained fire service and learn more about what you do in the community?
Yeah, well, we do a lot within the community. I think we're very community engaged kind of a service. But to become an on-call firefighter, you need to live within a reasonable distance to a retained fire station in the first place, and you've just got to be a very community-minded person. And I think most of us are anyway. Um, a retained station love someone that has daytime availability. So if you're a stay-at-home mum and the kids are at school, if you're a shift worker, fire and rescue retain love those kind of people. Even people studying university that have the time to put in to be available. Um, and also too, that the station needs to have those vacancies available. So uh, a lot of stations might be station of 14, 16, 18, 20, depends on, if they've got two appliances to that station. So as long as there's a position available, I suggest anyone that lives near a retained station to, because once you get the bug, once you're in and you get the bug, it becomes in your, gets to your blood.
Yeah.
You just, yeah, you just love it. It's
Yeah.
the best thing, being a firefighter, and especially being with, and I'm biased, Fire and Rescue New South Wales. It's just an absolute joy. It's an absolute fantastic organisation, and the camaraderie. I just I just thrive on the camaraderie you get from Fire and Rescue. But a lot of people don't have that luxury of living near Fire and Rescue retained station in New South Wales. So I suggest even joining the Rural Fire Service again, like what I mentioned before. The SES. It's a great start to where it can lead you, and the networking connections you have within these organisations is fantastic as well.
Yeah, and I think while this is on, this will go up this Friday, but on Monday the 17th is when the applications close for this year's fire recruitment for Fire and Rescue New South Wales. So if anyone's listening to this over the weekend and you do want to become a firefighter, you can jump on to Fire and Rescue New South Wales website and follow the prompts and get your application in. It's a great job.
Absolutely.
Absolutely fantastic job. Fantastic organisation.
So just saying about people getting involved and joining up, what advice would you have given to your 16-year-old self, Paul?
I think don't let the world intimidate you. Again, like I said, I think I've always had a little bit of anxiety, and I haven't let that sort of get in the way. I've pushed through, and I've always been so like some of the things I get myself into. I go, why did I ask for that, or why did I suggest to do this, or why did I say yes, why did I? But once you've done it, it's just such a joy and relief. So it's a big wide world out there. It can be scary, but just don't let it intimidate you.
Yeah.
Good
advice, Paul. You probably thought that after we came knocking on your door. I'm like, what was I thinking? So so we thank you that you said yes, even if in the midst of it you thought, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
It's so funny because someone mentioned to me, Maxie's kind of looking for an illustrator, and I forget who mentioned it to me, and I said, get him to give me a call if you ever cross paths with him. But so I don't know how that came about, but
yeah.
I think we had a conversation, didn't we? I think I saw one of your illustrations on
Fire and
Rescue. And then I said to Maxie, "Do you know this guy?"
Met each other.
And then there was the ship fire, and I think that So I think that's how they absolutely brilliant.
I'll always remember that ship fire, and when we saw Maxie and his crew come down, because Maxie was just when he came over and said hello to us, he was just the perfect person, the perfect gentleman, and he's so accommodating and such a well-spoken person that we just thought, what a fantastic guy this person was.
Oh no, it was great to meet you and the crew at that job, even though I think it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning at that stage. But it was a big fire. Went for days, that one. Mates, last question before we do wrap up is we have a Spotify playlist, and all our guests add a song each week, or each guest that we have, their pump up, feel good, happy, positive song that they like to rock out to. It could be anything that you like. But do you have a song driving to the fire station to fire up, or if you have the radio playing in the fire truck and a song that gets turned up, or a song that when you're drawing, is there a song that gets you fired up?
It's interesting. It's so funny because I've always said to the crew, like, let's get something, like if we're going on a strike team, let's get something pumping, and let's motivate ourselves up. Let's get ourselves ready to go to fight this beast. But I love I do love anything Queen. Queen's probably
Queen. All right. So, your favourite Queen song?
Well, but can I tell you a song that when I'm about to paint at home, and my favourite Queen song is Under Pressure.
Yes. Dum da da dum dum. Yeah.
Yes, but the song I sometimes play because I also paint as well as cartoon. I paint Australianist themed kind of paintings. One that I love to do, I put on just before I go to paint is funny enough. It's from the Greatest Showman. Never enough.
Never enough.
Yes. What was the girl's name? To settle somebody's. Yes, I know exactly. Oh no. Yes, love that song. Lauren Aldred.
Alfred.
Lauren Alfred. Oh, don't
Yeah.
say Alfred this weekend.
Yeah.
Queensland. Yes. Beautiful song, Paul.
I put that on, and I'll go and put the jug on and make a cup of tea, and I'll sort of limber myself up because I paint on the knees or if I'm doing my paintings. And it's just to inspire me. It's amazing what music does. It can inspire you.
It does.
Isn't it the ultimate mood changer? Music. You can, put the right tune on in the car, and you can. It literally is the ultimate. Yeah,
Absolutely.
So important.
Absolutely, yeah, so important. Music, yeah. As much as we need a laugh, I think music's the same thing. It's a lovely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That song's been added to the playlist, and you can find it on Spotify if you do have Spotify, and it's just Live, Learn, Survive, and your song's there. So there's a mixture of songs from all over the world of people with their hype up, pump up, good songs. So occasionally we get it on at 62 pump to get us fired up to the next call. But yeah, your song, Lauren Allred, is added to The Greatest Showman.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Paul, and thank you for what you've done for us, because you coming on board gave these books a second lease of life, meant that the picture book came to fruition, and we are so very grateful. And your energy and enthusiasm, you are the ultimate team player, and I can imagine there is incredible energy in your station because of all that you bring to it. So thank you from me and Maxie and Live, Learn, Survive.
No, thanks, guys. And it's so funny because I live in a beach suburb down on the south coast, and when I do go down to the beach, it's so funny. I don't know. Maxie, I think of Lily Maxie every time I go when I'm down the beach. I get this inspiration of this little Maxie running around.
Running around going mad, yeah. No, mate. Again, what they were saying, it's been an honour working with you, and we continue to work together into the future. We book 3 and some other cool ideas. So, thank you for your support and your hard work, and look forward to sharing this podcast this week. So, just before we always say, when we finish this, we'll continue our chat just to make sure that we got all our stuff on this end with the audio. But it's been amazing, Paul. So thank you. So just we'll have a chat after.
Absolutely. Live, learn, survive, guys.
Absolutely. And remember, June the 1st, Smoke Alarm Action Day. We're going to be get behind that, and we'll see who we can wrangle in to get on board to support your campaign.
Show the shirt for the YouTube people.
It's my working smoke alarm saves lives, and it's got the QR code, and on the back I've got the QR code. So if I'm out shopping, people can scan me and it has happened. People have we've rocked up to someone's home, and I said, "Oh, how'd you find out about us?" They said, "Oh, I scanned you when you were shopping at Woolies the other day." Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well done, mate. It's thinking outside the box.
Exactly.
Legend.
Take care.
Brilliant.
Lives, and the thing is, working smoke alarms. Definitely.
Working alarms.
100%. And the bells were kind to us, Paul, because we just got through an hour and almost 4 minutes, and you didn't get called away from the desk.
Well, we didn't jinx it, so that's great.
Didn't jinx it. So I think it's time now. Go and get the jug on. Cup of tea time. And we hope your shift is a nice, peaceful, quiet one.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm off to Melbourne tomorrow for the F1. That's my annual holiday.
Awesome, mate. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
All my travelling overseas all just been for Formula One, but so this is my little annual. I don't really do a lot for holidays, but this is where I get to go away for a couple of days and just get away.
Play.
Exciting.
Brilliant,
awesome, mate.
Brilliant.
And enjoy.
All right. So we'll wave goodbye to the people, and then we'll just make sure we've got your audio, Paul. So don't go anywhere. No, we're still recording. We're just say goodbye to the people, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about Formula One. Thanks, everyone. Have a great
Yeah.
week, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.